So welcome everybody to this session where I'm going to share a somatic safety practice that you can use whatever phase of recovery you're at. So thanks for joining me live. Thanks for watching the replay. Do feel free to say hello, tell me where you are in the world. You've probably, if you've been following me for the last few weeks, heard me talk about dealing with crashes, boom and bust, body signals, and the 4 phases of recovery. And you might be thinking, okay, I understand that, but what do I actually do to support my body and help it feel safer? So today I'll guide you through one gentle somatic safety practice, step by step, and show you how you can adapt it, whether you're mostly in phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, or phase 4. So let me just show you on the slides about the 4 phases. So phase 1 is stabilisation, where capacity is very low. Phase 2 is about regulation. There's some energy, but it's unstable. Phase 3 is about reconditioning, where capacity is growing. And integration is when we're living more fully again. So let me know in the chat what phase you feel you're in at the moment. Remember, phase 1, stabilisation, low capacity. Phase 2, regulation, some energy, but it's unstable. Phase 3, reconditioning, where capacity is growing. Stage 4, integration, living more fully again. So what phase do you think you are on average at the moment? Let me know in the chat. Feel free to say hello in the chat. Let me know where you are in the world. Let's just make sure the chat box is open. So we've got Patty from New Mexico. Hi, Patty. And we've got Jenny from Germany. I'm somewhere in between phase 2 and 3, I think. Okay, good. And I can remember when I was moving out of phase 1 into phase 2, dipping into phase 3. Patty says phase 2, 3 as well. Okay, so if you are here live, I can see there's a few people who have joined me. Do let me know what phase you think you are in. Okay, so I've talked more about these 4 phases in another video, so check that video out. I've put the link below this video where it says mentioned in this video. So Qigong 100 is saying 3, currently 2. Hi Qigong, let us know what your name is if you wish. And Kate says hi everyone from hotting up London. Yeah, it's getting hot in London. I'm very excited that we're getting some good weather. All right, so as I say, let me know what phase you think you are in. Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4. All right. Elena says 1, 2, 3. Okay, so there's some movement between those phases, and that can happen. But just remember, if you get into phase 2 or phase 3, go back to phase 1. You've already shown yourself that you can get up to phase 3. Okay, so consider, what is it I did to get to that point, and what do I need to keep doing? Kate says 2, 3. Sorry, missed the wording. That's not a problem. Just so you know, let me show you the slides. These are the 4 phases, okay? Phase 1, where our capacity is limited. 2, regulation, where there is some energy, but it's fickle. Phase 3, reconditioning, where things are starting to build. And stage 4, where we're mostly living fully, okay? So they're the 4 phases. So just let me know. And yeah, thanks everyone for joining me. Really appreciate you being here. I can see some more people have joined, so feel free to let me know where you are in the world and what phase you're in, 1, 2, 3 or 4. So let's just talk you through this. Just make sure my phone's off as well. Actually, I've got it in my hand. Let's put that down. Okay, so this practice is gentle. It can be done lying down, sitting up, whatever works for you. All right, you can do it with your eyes open. You can soften your gaze. You can close your eyes. Just do it in a way that feels safe for you. And if you're feeling really dysregulated, you may focus on a distraction activity. I've got a whole list of distraction activities that you can use, depending on what phase you're in, if you'd like that, put D for distraction, and I'll create a quick PDF. Okay, it's a useful little list. All right, so remember that if you're really very dysregulated, you might just focus on a distraction activity rather than doing the somatic practice. Okay, so Kate says, okay, then I'm between 3 and 4 mostly, but really bouncing around. Okay, that's great to hear, that you're between 3 and 4. So I invite you to just make sure you're comfortable. I'm going to make sure I'm comfortable. Let me just adjust things a little bit. And, turn off any distractions, your phone, etc. And know that you can stop at any time. Now, okay, we've got a couple of Ds, so you'd like the PDF for distraction activities. So I will get my virtual assistant to do that. All right. Big shout out to Briella, who's my virtual assistant in the Philippines. She works hard, creates a lot of good stuff for me and you. All right. So let's talk about the goal of this practice. It's not to force anything. All right. It's to give your nervous system the experience of safety and softening, and to practice being with sensations without an agenda, without panicking about them. It's about building our window of tolerance, building our capacity to be with our experience. So I'm going to guide you through this somatic practice. Okay, it has the acronym SOFTEN. So the S stands for settle. So I invite you just to adjust your posture. As I say, if you want to, you can close your eyes, soften your gaze, or even leave your eye open. And you're just going to take a few breaths with the emphasis on a slightly longer out breath. When you breathe out a little more slowly, this helps activate the parasympathetic healing response. Remember, you don't have to force anything. You're just focusing on a little slower and softer than usual, if that feels okay. So that's step 1, soften. Step 2 is orienting. If you wish, you can do this with your eyes open or your eyes closed. So if you wish, you can open your eyes for a moment and just look around the room. Let your eyes gently move around the room. Just notice an object, the colours, the textures, the shape. And do this with 3 or 4 objects. Now bring your attention to another object, noticing the material of that object, the colour, shape, the proximity to you. And you can also just do this with your eyes closed, just noticing the contact points where your body is touching whatever it is you're connected to, whether it's chair, bed, sofa. You could notice the points of contact between your body and the clothing that you're wearing. So that's orienting, step 2. So the next step 3 is to feel. So just experiencing sensations without analysis, without getting into our head. We're just feeling our experiences. So first, I invite you to bring your attention to neutral or okay areas. So where in your body feels neutral or okay right now? Sometimes clients say to me, I can't find anywhere in my body that feels okay now. And I say, well, what about your earlobes? Or your nose? Or your fingernails? I've never heard anyone say, my earlobes are really tired. So just notice those parts of the body. And you can do the step when it feels appropriate to do so, you might just gently notice any sensations in your body that aren't as comfortable as you would like. And the goal here is just to label them, to acknowledge them, without jumping into stories, analysis, or judgment. Remember, we're not trying to fix anything. We're just acknowledging this is what I'm experiencing right now. So step 4 is to tune in to what you need. You might say, in this moment, it's okay for this sensation to be here. It's okay for me to notice this sensation, to breathe, to maybe take 5 or 10 slow, gentle breaths, focusing on your breathing whilst you notice that sensation, and noticing whether that sensation changes or stays the same. And being okay with whatever happens. I had a client who decided that when she noticed sensations and emotions relating to anxiety, she would just take 5 or 10 breaths. And she had a very interesting experience. If I remember rightly, she sent me a message saying I was feeling overwhelmed with the task of doing this mind-body work. And then I remembered the film The Sound of Music, and the principal, or whatever the head nurse is called, head nun called, saying, you have to climb every mountain. And she sent me this email, and she said it made me feel more relaxed and reassured. And the funny thing was, this was in December, I think, the end of December or early January. I think it was December. And at the time she sent this email, I was sitting in the London Palladium watching The Sound of Music. And about a month later, she said to me, I'm going to Australia. And I thought, oh, that's interesting. I said, are you going for a holiday? And she said, no, I'm going travelling for a year. And that's what she did. She was well enough. She went from being very limited to being well enough to go travelling. And while she was travelling, she met the man who was to be her husband. I found a little card from her the other day. This was years ago. So, as I say, I invite you just to tune in to what you need. You might say, today my body is asking for some stabilisation, for some rhythm, a small stretch, a gentle rest, which is guilt-free. You can find whatever it is you need in this moment. Sometimes it might just be, I need a drink. Might be, I'm going to make a nice drink and really savour the taste. So that's step 4, tuning in to what you need. Step 5 is just to ease back. So to gently bring yourself back. You might just take a few gentle, deep breaths. You might wiggle your toes and fingers. And when you're ready, you can bring yourself back, opening your eyes, maybe having a gentle stretch. And step 6 is just to notice, without judgment, without judging it as good or bad, but just noticing how you feel now, having been through that gentle somatic safety practice. And let me know in the chat, what did you notice? Or share one word for how you feel right now. So Catherine says, Fate 3. Great to hear, Catherine. So feel free to let me know in the chat how you found doing that little gentle somatic safety practice. Remember, there's no right way to feel after you've done this. So Patty says clear. And how does that feel, Patty, to feel clear? Some people feel calmer, some people feel the same, some people feel more. And that's all information. So we want to get away from the idea of failure. We want to view our experience as feedback. So Kate says zonked. And is that okay, Kate? And Jenny says, I feel more connected to my body now. Patty says, amazing, thank you. You are very welcome, Patty. And say Jenny says, feel more connected to my body. And Kate says, same, Jenny. So this practice is about building tolerance and safety, not chasing a magic state. Okay, so that ability, and Kate is saying it is okay, great. That ability to be with our experience without getting into our head, without analysing, catastrophizing, chastising, interpreting, judging, ruminating. That ability to be with our feelings is a superpower. When I work with people, either in groups or one-to-one, we often start with a check-in. And the more we practice that, the better we get at being with our experience. And Patty says, the more I do this, the more I realise how stressed I am. Yeah, and that's important, because if we realise that we're stressed, we can now do something about it. Okay, so thanks for sharing that. So, as I say, the practice is about building tolerance and safety, not chasing a magic state. All right. So Eleanor says, made me cry. I have frequent symptoms which bring up the same thought pattern. And is that okay that it made you cry, Eleanor? Let me know. So in previous weeks, in week 3, we talked about listening to your body signals, and this is one way of doing that. And in week 1 and 2, this relates to giving ourselves a small safety experience. Kate says heart. So I want to very briefly talk about how to use it in each phase. So we'll talk about what the phase needs, how to use this practice, and what not to aim for. So phase 1, stabilisation. The need is for safety, not progress. Okay, so you might just do very short versions of this practice, even 1 to 3 minutes, even just 1 to 3 minutes. And you might just focus mostly on your breath, orienting, and one safety cue. Okay, the goal here is just to help your nervous system feel safe enough now, not to push your limits. Phase 2, regulation, where there's some energy but it's unstable. I'll come back to your comment in a moment, Elena. Is the need is for rhythm. We want to reduce the boom and bust pattern. So you might use it before and or after small activities, having a shower, short call, making food. So spending a few minutes to settle, then doing the activity, and then a few minutes after. And the goal is to just support your nervous system around activity so it doesn't swing as hard. Phase 3, reconditioning, where capacity is growing. The need is to cultivate trust and gradual expansion. So again, you might use it before activities, particularly stretch activities. If you're doing something that's a bit out of your comfort zone, going out, a social event, a small trip. And afterwards to help interpret sensations with more trust and less panic. Because sometimes our responses are subconscious. And I was talking about this recently. An example of that is when I was packing to go away, I could feel some tension in my body. And that was just an old habit, that whenever I was getting ready to travel, I'd feel a bit anxious. And when I thought about it, I realised I always bring my passport, my money, and my tickets, and I always allow enough time to get the plane, and touch wood, going away in about a week and a half, it's all worked out. Okay, so the goal here is I can expand a bit, and if symptoms arise, I can respond calmly and help my body adjust. Phase 4, integration, where we're living more fully. The need here is that we are approaching this phase in a sustainable way, sustainable life 2.0, not reverting to old patterns which got us into trouble. So we might use this as a regular nervous system hygiene strategy a few times a week. We might use it when things are more challenging, to keep you listening early, not when things have escalated. And the goal here is I stay attuned so I don't slip back into ignoring my body until it shouts. So I invite you to do a 7-day experiment. For the next 7 days, I invite you to just try or approach this in a very simple way. On every day, once a day, choose a time that approximately fits your current phase and do the short version of this practice. Phase 1, 1 to 3 minutes, once a day, lying or sitting. Phase 2, before or after a small activity. Phase 3, before or after one stretch activity. Phase 4, as part of your regular routine, evening wind down. I have a client who his goal was to get back to fell running, and he did that. And he found actually that when he got back to fell running, he wasn't doing it with quite so much urgency and enjoyed it more. But part of his wind down routine at the end of the day was just to come home. He realised that he needed to spend a bit of time just kind of finishing the day, and he'd do some gentle stretching and a little bit of meditation to help him do that. And he found as a result, he felt more relaxed, slept better. Okay, so I invite you to comment whether you're going to give this a go, and just let me know I'm in if you're going to do this for 7 days, and think about how you might support that habit. All right, so let me just go back to the comments. Eleni says, fed up but reassuring as I keep reminding myself about my goodness. Amazing. Okay, and it's understandable if you feel fed up, but remember I talked about making a pact with yourself, and this means cultivating patience, acceptance, compassion and trust. And the more we do that, the more these things build on each other. If we're patient, then we can be more accepting, then we can be more compassionate, and that can help us cultivate more sense of trust. So Jenny says, I'm in. Great. All right. Keep it super simple. All right. So today we practice one way of helping your nervous system just feel a little bit safer, and we looked at how to use that at each phase. So if you're willing to do this 7-day experiment, just let me know. Yeah, so we've got Jenny saying yes, and Patty saying yes, I'll do this. Brilliant. Now, if you'd like more support in applying this stuff weekly, then I'm going to be starting in June running a small building resilience coaching circle for people experiencing ME/CFS, long COVID, fibromyalgia, POTS and related conditions. It is a paid small group where we work on things like nervous system regulation, beating boom and bust, fear around doing activity, and using practices in a way that actually fits with your phase. There are full price and a limited number of concession spots for those who genuinely need them. I've already got a few people who have signed up, but if you'd like to join in, actually I've got a nice little slide to show you here. All right, so this is the Resilience Group Coaching Circle, and if you'd like to join, you can just comment R for resilience, or RG, let's say, put RG in the chat for resilience group, or you can email me at support@mecfsexplored.com, and I'll send you the information so that you can see if it's a fit. Okay, so that's if you'd be interested to find out more about the Resilience Group Coaching Circle. So thanks for being here. Let's have a look. Kate, I will do it it's going to be more tricky as I'm away for 3 days with others, but obviously more important now than ever. Brilliant. I hope you have fun, Kate. Says Jenny. Sorry, I've lost my place. Ooh, have fun, Kate, says Jenny. Yes, I will practice, says Elena. Brilliant. Thank you. You're very welcome, Elena. Thank you, Jenny. I'm going to be near trees. Yay. Give them a big hug from me. RG. Yeah, great. RG, says Patty. Perfect. So I will make sure you get that information. I will... let me think. Just so you know, my website's down at the moment. It's got a bug and I'm contacting IT. They're not getting back to me, which is a bit annoying. But anyway, send me an email, support@mecfsexplored.com if you want to know more, or comment RG and I'll send you the link. Sometimes, for some reason, these messages do disappear. So I will put the link below this video, and do send me an email if you don't get that information. But thank you for being here. It always makes it more interesting for me to have this interaction. So thanks to you, all of you who've turned up. If you like this video, do share it. Do leave a comment or a thumbs up. I've got a couple of thumbs up. Your comments, your thumbs up help other people see the video. So dare to dream big dreams and dare to take steps, no matter how small, because they add up. All right. So thanks, everybody. Kate says, absolutely. Wishing your website better soon. Thank you. Thank you, Kate. I love that. I hope it's better soon as well. It may be that I have to change my platform because they're showing signs of not being very reliable at the moment. Titanic. Jenny says, thank you, Sam. You are very welcome. Thanks all. Bye for now. Keep up the great work. Let me know if you've got any topics you'd like me to cover, and I will see you in the next video next week. The following week I will be away in Greece, so I might actually share an interview that I did recently. You are very welcome. Maxwell says thank you. Patty says thank you. You are welcome. Bye for now, everyone.